All right, our next guest raised $3.2 million to build Africa's largest gaming community and would like to use his company as a tool for economic transformation in Africa. Joining us now is Yele Bademosi, CEO of Nestcoin. Yele, thanks for joining us on the show. So as part of Nestcoin, you built Metaverse Magna, which is a crypto gaming guild that helps users earn up to $1,000 per month. You guys have raised $3.2 million at a $30 million valuation to build Africa's largest gaming DAO. So maybe you can walk us through how it works.
All right, thanks very much for having me on the show. It's great to be here. So we founded Nestcoin in September last year, and one of the very first products that we started working on was the gaming DAO. This was during the height of the sort of bull market. We had sort of growth in Axie, Pegasus, and just general excitement around the metaverse space. Now, despite what was going on in sort of Southeast Asia, when you looked at number of play-to-earn players in Africa, there was an obvious gap in the market. There was no one really trying to figure out, how do we help Africans who, are pretty active when it comes to playing mobile games, get into the play-to-earn space. And so that was one of the main reasons why we started working on MVM. MVM today is Africa's largest gaming DAO. We do more than play-to-earn. We provide sort of opportunities for gamers to get into crypto, earn money, and also socialize and build a career. We think that gaming is probably the best and most fantastic on-ramp activity for Africans to get into crypto.
A study, Nigeria is the most curious nation about crypto. So I'm just curious, how many users are you seeing right now, and how are you dealing with the Central Bank of Nigeria, which has banned crypto transactions, and the state of crypto in Nigeria in general right now?
Yes, I think the ban has, we don't really call it a ban. We think of it more as a restriction. And so essentially the way we've been able to sort of handle that is just developing peer-to-peer systems that allow users to connect with each other directly and trade and exchange fiat for crypto. One of the key products that we've built at MVM and Nestcoin is the sort of world's first protocol that allows users to go from crypto to cash without trusting the middleman. So you can think of it as a Uniswap for cash and crypto. And this is tremendously powerful because it allows users to sort of go from the traditional finance world into the crypto world without needing a middleman or anything like that. And we're seeing adoption of these peer-to-peer systems across the continent.
What's the adoption like? Do you have numbers?
Yeah, so for instance, right now with MVM, we have a total community size of around 100,000 members who are sort of playing games and sort of engaging in more social activity. One of the things that people don't realize about like Africa in general is that we have this crazy sort of, crypto obsession due to a number of reasons, which I can go into, but also when it comes to sort of like our social media use cases, time spent on things like TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp is super high. So when you put those two things together,
mostly in Nigeria, it's all over Africa?
Yeah, so generally in Africa, there are like about maybe 4 or 5 big crypto markets. You have Nigeria, you have Ghana, you have Kenya, you have South Africa. In total, we have users from about 30 plus African countries. But the bulk of those users come from, Nigeria and Ghana today.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because, the part of Africa where my family's from is the northeast part. The infrastructure there is a little bit different than the infrastructure in other parts of Africa. I'm wondering, obviously it's a big continent. There's a lot of us. And what part, where you see this interest, Ghana and Nigeria, how is the infrastructure like relative to the interest? And do you find interest in other parts of Africa that maybe can't match the infrastructure? In other words, that there's more interest than the infrastructure allows? Or are there other opportunities where there is infrastructure, but maybe not enough interest, and perhaps there's a potential there as well?
Yeah, so I think the biggest kind of gap generally has just been like, how do you bridge both worlds? right? So for instance, let's say Ethiopia, that's a country that has a very young population, but despite sort of like how large the country is, there is no well-known or established crypto exchange. And so generally it's a blend of sort of, regulation, is a blend of sort of, you know, the fiat on and off ramps that sometimes limit the spread of adoption. But the key thing that we're seeing on the continent right now is the growth of these peer-to-peer on and off ramps. And then as long as it's a country that has an RTP system, which is a real-time payment system, whether it's like mobile money or a national switch. So for instance, in Ethiopia, the government recently announced that they're going to allow foreign investors to start investing in their banks. Safaricom, who are the creators of M-Pesa, are also launching a telco network in Ethiopia. So that's like a market that we are super excited about, because up until now, the infrastructure that have allowed crypto adoption to grow and thrive, was lacking. So I think overall, there definitely is like a spectrum in terms of sort of the adoption rate for crypto across Africa. But as we continue to see more digitization and sort of more supporting policies, we think like that spread would diffuse to all 54 countries over time.
Yele, just one last question before we wrap, 30 seconds. But, with the recent market volatility, is it hampered building and user adoption?
Yeah, I mean, I think like when we think about sort of trading activity, then definitely there's been that decline. But one thing about Africa that's always been quite unique is that a lot of people in Africa use stable coins as a medium of exchange to move from whatever fiat currency that they have to global fiat, right? So even though we've seen sort of trading volumes go down across various exchanges across Africa, actually, when you look at sort of stable coin utility and usage is increasing. So we're seeing a lot more FX players, a lot more importers, manufacturers, multinational companies engaging in stable coins directly or indirectly.